Good evening, I am author and ghost story Mike Ricksecker. This is a little bit different. I do have a mug of coffee, but it's not a morning mug. You could call this an evening mug. I've done that on Facebook before where I've actually put out an evening mug at night. Those are a little bit more fewer and far between than the morning mugs. But what I'm doing here is kind of taking a moment to explain what the new show, The Ancient and Historic Supernatural Secrets, is going to be, because I've had some different questions about that. And I did have a morning mug talking about this show versus Ghosts and Legends and kind of the differences between them. And I actually want to get a little more in depth, give kind of a preview of what we're doing here. And, well, I gotta have a little coffee too. Now let me just go to the trailer really quick because I've had some questions about the trailer, in particular about the clips of me with a scroll. And so what that scroll is, when this picture was taken, was actually 2006 at the Enoch Pratt Free Library in downtown Baltimore. And they had just recently discovered, down in the bowels of their archives in the basement, a Megillah scroll. And what that is, that's a very long ancient Hebrew prayer that's out in this scroll. And this particular one was 600 years old. It's very old, and was actually hidden within this little wooden book. So it was rolled up and placed in there. Very kind of cool the way that was done, and I guess that's why over all those years it was just kind of lost down there, because it was just tucked away. But long time ago, there used to be that phrase, the whole Megillah, meaning that something was very long and drawn out, and it took a lot of time to do, and things like that was, a figure of speech. And that's where it came from, because this is a very, very long prayer. And for those that are my age and maybe a little bit older, you probably remember the cartoon Megillah Gorilla. So that was kind of taken from there, I guess. But those photographs are from that time and checking out this scroll. And to date, that is actually, at least I believe, the oldest archaeological material that I have actually personally handled. I've got the white gloves on and everything. My friend Lewis was over there taking pictures of it, and he first started using the flash. It's like, whoa, no flash. No flash, because it was, old, dried parchment. Fragile, but it had a thickness to it, so it was tough. It was kind of leathery, but it was still kind of crackling a little bit. It was very cool. And so that's what that is. So I'm not necessarily going to be tackling that particular scroll, but we will be tackling scrolls and archaeological facts like that, archaeological objects like that, within this series. And there's certainly going to be plenty of ancient Hebrew texts and things like that are going to be examined and researched and all of that within this. So locations, well, we're going to cover all different types of places and locations. Some we'll get out to right away, others may take us a little while to get out there, but a lot of this show is going to be the research into the history of it all, and we can help each other along the way, as I'm, because some of these different segments are probably going to take multiple episodes, and as we go through and research, I'll be digging into different things, and I'll post an episode, and if from that episode you become inspired or inclined to research something on your own and find something, or maybe you already know something that I'm just not coming across, feel free to leave it in the comments or message me or whatever. Share the information, and we can work together on discovering these different ancient secrets. And there's a lot of material that's already out there that is speculation, that's hypothesis, things that have been proven or not proven. There's a lot of disparity between the traditional archaeological community and I don't know what you call the new one, but more modern and controversial interpretations of the ancient texts and artifacts. So we're going to be diving into a lot of that stuff as well. There's going to be conspiracy theories that we'll dive into and check out and explore. You saw the John Wilkes Booth stuff in that trailer. I mean, I've covered that before in Ghosts and Legends of Oklahoma, and then Ghosts of Maryland is where I first came across this guy. I always seem to run into John Wilkes Booth, so we gotta cover him. I mean, when I eat lunch, probably at least once a week, maybe once every other week, I go down to Walk and Roll and walk into the building where the plot was hatched to assassinate Abraham Lincoln. Yes, Chinese restaurant. I mentioned that in the last video. But okay, so locations. So as we go through, we're going to cover the world, as much of the world as we can. And hey, I've already said I'm going to live until I'm 126, so we've got a lot of time to do this. But we're starting now, and as much of the world as we can cover. I love to travel. I love to go to all kinds of different places. And that lamp behind me is driving me nuts because I'm looking through the little viewfinder and I see it beep bopping behind my head. What are you gonna do? This is a more casual format, so there you go. So in any case, I mean, I come from a family of travelers. I've been going to different places since I was a kid. It's true, and I've never met him, so I don't mean to name drop, but I bring it up because I was watching one of his presentations at a conference the other day, and it does ring true. Giorgio Tsoukalos. Yes, the guy with the hair from Ancient Aliens. Now, hey, that is a fantastic marketing tactic. I mean, everybody makes fun of him for the freaking hair, but it's a fantastic marketing tactic because everybody knows him because of it. Even people that aren't into that know him from that. So it worked. In any case, so I'm watching a presentation that he was giving. Just because something in the title I came across on YouTube interested me, so I was watching it, and he said that it was a Q&A part of the presentation, and he was asked how he first got into it and all this stuff, and he was like, we're a product of the environment that we grew up in, and it was his grandmother that got him into it primarily, as well as his parents, who did a lot of traveling and took him places and things like that. But then when he would come back from those places with his parents, his grandmother would say, okay, what'd you learn? Okay, that's fantastic. Let me tell you about another story about that, an alternative version. And so he'd end up getting both sides of the story. So he'd go all these places and then come back and get another story from his grandmother. So he is a product of that. Well, my parents, probably from about the time that I was 10 and on, the places that we traveled to for vacations were primarily historic in nature. And so we started kind of small. We went to Washington D.C. when I was 10 years old, and I think it was the following summer we did Gettysburg, we did Smoky Mountains at some point in there, Gatlinburg, that area, which was very cool. When I was older, we did we went out west to Colorado Springs and Yellowstone and stuff like that. So there was a mix of scenic type places and historic type places. We even stopped along the way to Abilene, Kansas, at the Eisenhower Center to learn about Ike. So one of the trips that I would have loved to go on, would have been the European trip with my Uncle Chuck. Now, I said I'm from a family of travelers, so my parents did that. My grandfather, he was kind of always like, we're going on vacation, let's get in the car and go. And so I went to places with my grandparents. Various aunts and uncles, like to travel. My great Auntie Kay was a big time traveler all over the place. My Uncle Chuck has been a world traveler over his years. And there was one particular summer that I was supposed to go with him on a trip to Europe, but yeah, as it turns out, that was the summer of my 13th year. As it turned out, we ended up moving just after that summer. So we ended up spending the summer going to Ohio. Yeah, I visited some family, but we ended up going to Worcester to kind of check out the town and stuff like that, because that's the my dad was getting transferred to Luke there, and so that summer just kind of became a wash. Unfortunately, did not end up going to Europe. The following summer, I did end up on a Canadian trip with my Aunt Marge, and that was kind of interesting. We saw some scenic stuff up there. We did Niagara Falls. We did a big thing in Toronto. We did some stuff in Michigan on the way up, like Mackinac Island and stuff like that. So that was very cool. That was I have to do this. So that one was my aunt, her best friend Linda, and Linda's son Dave Chadowski. And anybody in Ohio that watches sports, you guys know Dave as a sportscaster up there. So yeah, he's a. If you want to know, as great as he is on screen, he's also a very, very cool, likable guy. He's he was at both my grandparents' funerals. Very, very classy guy. Came out for things like that. So yeah, Dave's a cool guy. Sorry, Dave. So yeah, I intend on doing a lot of different things worldwide. Some of the places we're probably not going to get to particularly soon. There's a lot of ancient stuff that I want to do, that I want to dive into. A lot of things that I've been getting into lately with different ancient Sumerian texts, and even earlier than that. So I'm not making a trip to Iraq anytime soon. That is something that absolutely drives me crazy about just all the fighting and carrying on and wars that go on over there, even if we are not involved with it, which I'm not going to give a political opinion here. This is not a political show. But even if the United States is not in it, they've been at each other's throats over there for millennia. So to go over there and check that stuff out is freaking dangerous. So I'm not doing that anytime soon, unfortunately. So for things like that, we're going to have to do as much as we can from here. So that's going to mean, hitting, whatever research libraries we can, whatever online resources we can, any type of, video, things like that. If there is a local museum with some of those different artifacts, then we're going to hit those. And Sumerian artifacts are scattered all over the world right now, so we'll dig up some of those and find those. And that will be true of any other thing that we're going to cover that we might be able to do some locally. But other locations, we'll head out to, and to me, doing the research there at the location is so much better than just trying to sit home and do it online, because you can interview people there. You can, there's going to be artifacts there that you can only access there. There's going to be a special library there where you can only access the resources there. Whatever historical societies or anything like that, you have access to so much more locally than just trying to, do what you can online or talk to somebody over the phone or whatever. I am a big advocate of talking to the locals and getting their stories, because within that local folklore and legend, there's a lot of truth. And I've covered this before in other videos, that you take a legend, okay, and it might sound completely crazy, fabricated, whatever, but within there there's a grain of truth. It came from somewhere. Something inspired that. Some event, series events, whatever, happened to create that legend. It exists for a reason. The one I always use, just because it's easy to remember, is the one of Effie in Oklahoma City at the Skirvin Hotel. How no record of Effie ever having worked at the hotel, so there was no love child. She didn't jump off the top story out of a top story window with a baby in hand, because there's no record of it. Nothing. She didn't exist. But there are records of people, similar circumstances, that combined to create her story. And so her story is a conglomerate of different other stories put together, and some personal experiences that people are having there with spirits. So, going to those locations and talking to the locals and getting their stories, you get a better idea of what may be transpiring there based on those legends. You're going to have to dig and get the root of where those stories came from. But it's possible. And that's what we're going for here, is those secrets and that lost knowledge of whether it's paranormal, whether it's supernatural, whether it's just straight up history that's become a legend. We're going to dive into that stuff, and we're going to start uncovering some real hardcore truth as much as we can. It's out there, and a lot of it's buried. A lot of it's been covered up. A lot of it purposely. Some of it, unbeknownst to people, that it's actually covered up. We're going to dig into those things, and we're going to find those things, and we're going to unearth them. And that's what this show is going to be about. We're going after real truth and the lost knowledge of our entire civilization, the entire human race, for all time. The truth is out there, and we're going to find it. And we're going to share it. Because I think it's been long enough that we've kind of been hemming and hawing. This theory over here, and that theory over there, and this organization hiding stuff over here, and this organization covering stuff up over there, and not letting the real truth come out. So, like I said, it might be paranormal, it might be supernatural, it might be just straight up history, it might be aliens. Or extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them. Could be. And we're going to find those things out. So, that is what this evening mug is. I hope that gives you a little bit of taste of where we are going with this. And I want to make this as interactive as possible, so as we go through it, I may just throw questions out there. Hey, what do you think of this? Hey, does somebody have any information on that? And try to work on all this together. Because I'm just one person, but together, as a team, Team Haunted Road Media. Use the hashtag TeamHRM on any of the social media, and I will find it. So, that's it. All the standard stuff. If you like the video, go ahead and click the thumbs up, because those certainly help. And if you have not yet, please subscribe, because we got a lot of stuff coming. A lot of stuff. So, until next time.